Hey guys, it's Glenn from the Functional Movement Club, and today we're just going to go through a warm-up for your deadlift. So we're going to start off just by releasing off the calves and the hammies. So we're going to grab a foam roller. We're just going to roll up and down sort of the entirety of that muscle, or sort of from like the back of the heel right up to the back of the knee. If you like, you can put a bit of extra pressure on with that other leg. And really, you just want to be scouring, seeing if there's any tight or sore spots where you want to spend a bit of extra time. Once we've done 5 sweeps up and down, then we're just going to add in some movement. So we're going to flex the toes up towards the head, then we're going to point the toes down towards, or away from the head or down towards like the imaginary floor. And we're just going to do 5 sweeps in each direction on all of those tight spots that you found just when you're sort of rolling up and down the calf. So again, you can sort of roll side to side, just make sure you're getting all those sore or tight spots. Once you've done those, flip over onto the other side. We'll go up and down 5 times. Just make sure, if you have taken note any sort of tight spots, because they're the ones we want to come back to. Or if you find that the same spots are tightening up over and over again, you might just want to get them checked out. There might be something going on with sort of your movement patterns or whatever. So again, working through those tight spots, we're just going to work up 5 sweeps. Doesn't have to be too long. You only want to be spending like roughly a minute on each side as tops that you'd want to be spending. Oh, there's a good one. Then we're going to roll up into the hammies. So just from like the back of the knee all the way up to the top of the bum. So from there, again, 5 sweeps, making note, is it a bit tighter on the outside, is it a bit tighter on the inside? Then from there again, if you want, you can put a little bit of pressure on with the other hand. We're just going to bend and straighten that knee slightly. And again, just doing 5 in any tight spots that you find as we work up and down that hamstring. Good. And then we'll switch over. Extra bit of pressure, bend and straighten that knee, just getting in there. You don't have to spend too much time just working on any spots that you particularly find a little bit tight or sore. Sweet. Then once we're done with the foam roller, we're going to go back to using it as a pillow, how I like to use it. Then next thing we're going to do is you can do this against a wall, or you can grab a towel. We're just going to grab a band because we've got one hand in clinic. We're going to pull that leg up to roughly 90 degrees, keeping that knee nice and straight, back's nice and flat on the floor. Other leg's going to come up, other leg's going to drop down. So keeping the core nice and tight on this one. We don't want to see that back coming up off the floor. We want to just be feeling a nice sort of eccentric or sort of lengthening stretch through the back of that hamstring. So we're just going to go through, we're going to do 10 on each side, then we're going to switch over. If you get into the last couple and you're feeling good, you can pull it back a little bit more. This can also be done, we'll change up, sorry. This can also be done like in a doorway. Just chuck one leg up in the doorway, other leg falls into the room or out of the room. Or you can do it in a squat rack as well at the gym. So you just pop one leg up on the arm of the squat rack, and then the other leg drops down. So again, doing 10 on each side. Once we've done that, we can pop it away. Then we're going to roll up your towel, and we're just going to go into a little bit of a toe touch progression. So now that we've started to lengthen out those hamstrings, now we just want to train the brain how to retain that range of motion a little bit better. So grab a weight plate or something where you can just pop the toes up at the gym. Then you're going to go grab your towel. We're going to squeeze that in between the thighs, and we're going to reach up towards the ceiling. We're going to reach down and touch our toes. So we want to keep the knees nice and straight for this. Feeling just a nice bit of stretch through those hamstrings. And we want to eventually be working just a little bit further each time. So every time you reach down, you feel those hamstrings tighten up. Then we just want to squeeze on that towel. It's going to activate your adductors, and then it's going to activate your core. And that in turn is going to send signals back to your brain and tell it to release off that lower back. Once you've done 10 with the toes up, flip around, we're going to go 10 with the heels up. So with the toes up, you're stretching out the calves a little bit more. This one will be a little bit more through the hammies. The other thing that I really like about this variation is as you reach forward, you have to counterbalance by pushing that bum back. So if you don't push the bum back, you fall forwards. And so it's teaching us how to transition that weight into the back of the heels and load up those hamstrings that we want to be doing when we're going through our deadlift. So after we've done our warm up with those, we're going to grab our broomstick and we're just going to go a couple of hip hinges. So just getting used to that trunk tension. Now we're going to start putting it all together in some functional movements. So broomstick goes behind the back of the back. We're going to have 3 points of contact with that broomstick. So head, chest, and lower back or bum. Hand underneath goes underneath the broomstick. Hand over top goes at the back of the neck. Then from there, we're just going to practice pushing that bum back into the broomstick. And with this one, it's not a matter of getting all the way down to the ground just yet. We just want to work on keeping those 3 points of contact throughout that whole movement. So if you find you only get to here and the back starts to come off, or you lose contact with that bum, that's your range of motion. You just want to be working through that for the time being. So we're just going to do 10 of those just to warm everything up. Then we're going to go and grab our broomstick and we're going to activate those lats. So grab the broomstick, we're going to have a little band which we're going to tie off just to a squat rack. Then from there, we're going to actively pull the broomstick into the thighs. So that's going to help just to activate those lats. And then they're going to help to stabilize that lower back as we're going back through that deadlift. So the lats actually attach into the lower back, or the fascia of the lower back. And so they're a pretty big stabilizer through your lower back and through the lower trunk whenever you're going through and doing lower body movements. So pulling the bar into the thighs, running the bar or the broomstick down the thighs, down the shins, is just going to encourage that nice hip hinge motion. And it means our back's just going to be a little bit more supported as we're going through that deadlift motion. Good. So after we've done 10 of those, we can pop that away and we're going to get into a little bit more about deadlift. So we're going to start loading it up. I like to do it just with a foam roller, and we're going to do a single leg variation. So from here, grab a nice long foam roller. We're just going to push it into the top of our foot with our hand. From there, slide foot back, lifting up, toe touches down, foot slides back in. So we're going to do 10 of those on each side. The reason why I like this, the foam roller helps to sort of activate that core a little bit more as well. So it starts to sort of tie that lengthening of the hamstrings, the engagement of the core, and that nice hip hinge movement that we want to be happening in order to start off our deadlift. So I think we're up at about 8, so we'll do a couple more. And we'll turn it around. And then when we're changing over, the reason why I like this variation is it keeps the pelvis nice and stable. So what you'll find is, if you're doing it without a foam roller, you can sort of tend to like rotate that pelvis a little bit more. So foam roller just gives us a bit of that sensory feedback to keep the hips nice and level, and it also works on our single leg stability. So what you'll find is, if you sort of tend to lift up straight away, you might actually be putting more weight through the knees. The drag back actually encourages you to load up that posterior chain once again. So going through, perfect. I think that's about 10. I tend to talk a bit. Then last one, we're just going to load it up a little bit. So grabbing a kettlebell, we're just going to go opposite hand, opposite foot. So as we're dropping the left foot back, we're going to hold the weight in that left hand, and we're going to come back up. So this will be working on more of your rotational pattern. Depends really what you want to get out of your single leg deadlifts. The diagonal pattern or the rotational pattern is usually a little bit more functional. So say like your running or your walking techniques, or if you particularly just want to work one side, then you can do same side. It just really depends on what you're working it for. Then we can change up. We'll go other side. So nice little trick for this. If you notice that your pelvis does rotate, what you can do is be focused in on dragging that foot back, lifting up. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that that foot's pointed down towards the floor or down inwards, and then that'll help just level out that pelvis. Means you're loading up sort of that glute med and the glute complex a little bit more, and we're also loading up that hamstring. So once we've done 10 of those on each side, we should be going pretty good, and we should be ready to get into our deadlifts.